said he was qualified, so he whipped his ass, while he was in there. Now, the other stuff that happened, it went down the way it did, man.
I would like to wish you all the Brits go fuck yourself.
Welcome back, everyone, to Grey Talks Wrestling. It's time to chat another retro review. It's time to put another one in the books. Let's talk about WCW Capital Combat, the return of RoboCop. The less said about RoboCop, the better being in professional wrestling. If you take him out of it, this was actually a really good show. Some really good matches. Yeah, there were 8 matches and 5 of those matches were tag team matches, but it just proved how deep and how stacked the tag team roster from WCW in 1990 actually was. You got the Road Warriors, you got Doom, you got the Steiner Brothers, you got the Midnight Express, you got the Rock and Roll Express, you got the Freebirds. 6 teams, just absolutely phenomenal. Each one of them, any one of them could carry the titles at any minute, and it would work. We kicked it off with a 6-man tag that was really good, hard-hitting, brutal, probably the best match that I've seen Norman the Lunatic ever have. He was teaming up with the Road Warriors, going against Bam Bam Bigelow. Didn't see much of him in WCW, but here he was, teaming up with Kevin Sullivan and Cactus Jack. A young Mick Foley, looking trim and slim and looking really good. The future's bright for him, obviously. We know where he goes, loses an ear, and all that lovely stuff, gets chucked off a cage, 2 for his nose. But here, he's looking good. This was a good match, hard-hitting brawl with the Road Warriors. What more are you going to expect? Of course, they got the win. Not many people go over the Road Warriors. The same was here. Road Warrior clothesline Hawk off the top rope. 1, 2, 3. Simple win for the Road Warriors. And, of course, Norman the Lunatic. Going to see more from him, obviously. Next up, quite an interesting matchup, I felt. Quite interesting to watch. A young Undertaker going up against Johnny Laryngitis, Johnny Ace, People Power. Remember them days there? This is long before then. This is Johnny Ace, long blonde mullet, rocking it hard. He was actually pretty good. This was actually a pretty good match. Probably the best match Johnny Ace has ever had. I really enjoyed it. Mean Mark looking really good, looking really strong, looking like they're going to push him to the moon. And he's got a good moveset as well. The heart punch, the walk in the ropes, elbow drop. Looking like a star in the making. How does this all go all so wrong? He's serving it up on a silver platter. He is a star in the making. How WCW dropped the ball and let him go is beyond me. Because in a couple of months he is done with this company and moving on to bigger and better things. But it was a decent win here and a good match for him. Looking strong. Teddy Long is his manager. I don't know about that. Anyway, we move to the Samoan SWAT team. The Bloodline. Heads of the Table. Tribal Chiefs. Fatu and the Samoan Savage defeated Tommy Rich and Mike Rotunda in a very good match. Another team I forgot even to mention, the Samoan SWAT team. Very good. This was an excellent tag match. Mike Rotunda doesn't get enough credit. Probably the best wrestler in his family, without doubt. And that's saying something, because his sons are nowhere near as talented as he was in the ring. Yeah, their characters might have been better, but in the ring, this guy can go. Forget about watching him as IRS. Go watch him here. Yeah, the captain gimmick didn't really work for him. I preferred him when he was in the Varsity Club. That worked. But Tommy Rich as well, a young Tommy Rich, was really, really good. And he proved it here. This was a good tag match. Samoan SWAT team, they were just savages, man. They were just unbelievable in the ring. Could really go. Again, another team that they didn't really utilise well enough. They had such a stacked roster of tag teams. It was not surprising that they were going to let a couple slip through the net, and the Samoan SWAT team were one of them. I've got to say, Teddy Long was really entertaining on this show. Really enjoyed him, especially his match with Paul Ellering. That was jokes. Absolutely hilarious. Him getting knocked out with one punch by Paul Ellering and then getting his hair chopped off. Just phenomenal from Teddy Long. Forget about tag team match player. You're facing The Undertaker in a SmackDown main event, Teddy Long. This Teddy Long is leagues above that. Leagues above. Go watch him. So entertaining in WCW as a manager. Why didn't we see more of this when he got to the WWF? I will never know. The Midnight Express defending their United States Tag Team titles in another very good tag match against the Southern Boys. Well, no, that was in the next show, wasn't it? No, they're going up against Brian Pillman and Tom Zenk here. Sorry, I got a bit confused there. I've just watched too many WCW shows over the last couple of days. But anyway, the Midnight Express are just killing it as the United States Tag Team Champions. You've got Jim Cornette locked in a cage. This was phenomenal. Jim Cornette is just phenomenal. A great manager, one of the best of all time. Midnight Express going down as one of the best of all time. They were great in the 80s, still rocking it in the 90s. We know where they go from here, though. It's a shame that they're just not utilised enough. There's just so many, like I said, so many tag teams that you can't use them all. And I'm surprised they didn't try to jump to the WWF at some point, the Midnight Express and Jim Cornette earlier, because they could have done really well there, especially now. Arn Anderson and Tully have gone. You've got Demolition, you've got the Hart Foundation. Their tag team division is starting to wane a bit. I would love to have seen a Midnight Express try their luck at this point in the WWF. Could have worked. Same with the Rock and Roll Express, another team that could have gone there. This was a great match, the Corporal Punishment match, the strap match, whatever we're calling it, against the Freebirds. Just phenomenal tag team wrestling that you're not seeing today. Stacked rosters of tag teams. Top to bottom. Yeah, there's a lot of tag team matches on this show. You have like 3 or 4 back to back. Because like the Rock and Roll Express beat the Fabulous Freebirds in an excellent match. And then you move on to Doom versus the Steiner Brothers for the tag team titles in another phenomenal tag match. Just banger after banger after banger. Doom are phenomenal. No one talks enough about how good Ron Simmons and Butch Reed were as a team. Everyone talks about the APA, Ron Simmons and Bradshaw. People forget how good Ron Simmons and Butch Reed were as a team. Give them their flowers, someone, please. They were phenomenal. This was a great match and they deservedly had to go over. Main event, steel cage match for the World Championship. And somehow, some way, they found a way to keep the title on fucking Ric Flair again. That steel cage was meant to keep people out, but somehow, some way, the Horsemen found a way in. So annoying that they didn't give the title. It was on a silver platter. Luger was so over at this point. And what harm would it have done him winning the title? No harm. Flair could have won it back at some point and he probably would have done. They just dropped another clanger, another ball dropped. Luger not winning the title. This was a very good cage match, but the interference from everyone ruined it. You had the Horsemen, you had Sting. I think RoboCop showed up at one point, I don't know. It was ridiculous to the end. Ridiculous. I feel bad that Luger didn't win that title. It was there, it was supposed to happen. Another moment lost. And another show we're going to have to watch with Flair as the champion. Love Ric Flair. He was great. Great. But there comes a point where you've got to pass the torch on and give other people a chance. And the time was then and it was there. It was ready for Luger to take over and have a run as the champion. He just didn't want to do it and I don't know why. It doesn't make sense. Let me know what you feel down below. Should Luger have won that match? But Capital Combat overall was really, really good. Really good show, and it shows the deep roster and the talented roster they had at that point. And how did they fumble? How did they drop the ball with so many of them? And just let them go and go on to bigger and better things elsewhere. Baffling, isn't it, really? Anyway, let me know what you think down below. Thanks for watching another video. I'll be back again very soon.